everyone. Today's construction day 76.
We did not do a construction day 75 video. It was rainy yesterday on and off, and we actually met up with some subscribers of ours, Mark and Cecilia. You may remember them. We showcased their house several videos back. So we met them for lunch, had a great time, brought them up to the work site. They got a chance to see the house, and I know they're traveling back to Cebu today, so travel safe, guys. A lot going on at the work site today, so let's get up there and see what's going on. So here right in front of the house, looking at the main beams, you can see they've pulled most of the scaffolding down. They left enough in place to hold up the bottom of the beams that are still drying, so we leave them on for a couple of weeks. And now they're transitioning over to the center of the house, so they can start working on the that last center beam. So I step back here on the other side of the pool to show you the that last 7-meter center beam that they're working on. So I'm going to try to get a little closer and show you the progress that they've made here in the last couple of days. All right, so you guys know the routine. They're building the scaffolding here with this cocoa lumber here in the center, and you know that takes several days for them to get that accomplished. But before they actually put the rebar in for the center beam, they are building the bottom of the form. So I'll zoom in just a little bit. Right there in the center, you'll see that they're starting with the cocoa lumber and the plywood to span the 7 meters here. And now, once that's in place, they'll start shaping or cutting the 16 mm rebar. You can see a little sticking out of the beam there, and then spanning across, and you can see some of the rebar there. So they'll go ahead and tie that beam to span across, and then that should be the final pour of the beams for the house. So here on the right side of the house, they're starting with the hollow block on top of the beam. And again, there's going to be no weight bearing on this hollow block. It's just a faux wall to give the effect of a larger beam. That's the style of the house. And I'll stop the video here and show you guys once again the 2D design from the architect. So this hollow block will repeat, and it will turn and go the length of the pergola. So you can see the rebar sticking out there. So they're going to go ahead and repeat that just to have this all closed off so no rain can get into the pergola area from this side. Now, we will not close off the back side, and of course the front side won't be closed off. So rain will get in, but here in the center part, they'll close that all off and seal it from all the weather. So once this final center beam is poured, you'll see that they're building up the firewall here pretty high. So just like they're putting hollow block on top of the beam here, they'll do the same with the beam that's going to go across. So you can see here that they got the hollow block going up, and then here's part of the firewall right there. So once they get the beam in place, they will go 2 or 3 layers of hollow block up and go across, again, to make the appearance that that main center beam is larger. Again, once again, no weight bearing. It's just a faux wall that'll be sitting on top of the beam, and then they'll render it and then smooth it all out and paint it. And it will be the main look of the house. All right, so they do have the firewall completed here on the one side of the house. So you can see it going the whole length, all the way down. And it does dip down 5 degrees, so it matches the roof line. So they have that completed. And now what they're doing is they're working the second side. So you can see they got the height there. So that's 3 block high. And then you can see they have 2 blocks here coming across. So they're working that today. So hopefully if it doesn't rain, they'll get that completed. So now that the backfill of the pool is done and everything's been tamped down, they're starting to pour the coping. So they did get the 10 meters here in the back corner completed. So, you know, I've been talking a long time about the coping being 60 centimeters wide. So you can see how wide the coping is as compared to the pool. And then you can see the thickness. So in some spots it's thicker than 4 inches. But it's supposed to be here. It looks like it's about 7 inches thick. But the plan is for it to be 4. And they just poured this before lunch. So I'm going to have to talk to the foreman about if they're going to complete this today or not. But here's the first look of the 60 cm coping that they're pouring around the pool. So now you can see the height of the coping as it compares to the back of the pool as it faces the ocean. So obviously we want the coping to be up higher than this area. Now we're going to put grass in here. So a viewer asked what type of grass you're going to put in this area. So I'm going to give you guys a quick example of frog grass. So that photo of frog grass was actually right outside our townhome, and they installed that just as we moved in about 4 months ago. So that's been there 4 months, and you can see has not grown at all. It does not grow up. It does spread out, but it doesn't grow up. So you don't need to cut frog grass. So once it grows, it gets in place, it's good to go. So we're going to be building this up. So I'll get down a little bit. You can see there's still a ways to go here with dirt, but we're going to be filling more of that real nice black dirt from the bottom of the property. And we're going to be layering more in here and tapering it down to the rock wall. And then eventually, you know, once all the construction workers are gone, we'll purchase frog grass. Now, it's not seeds. It comes already as a plant. And you just basically just lay it in place and then water it. And it likes direct sun because actually there's some frog grass in our townhome that's in the shade area and it doesn't look so good. So I asked the caretaker, I said, how come the frog grass in this area is so lush and over here it looks like it's dying? And he said it's because it was in shade. So as you can see, there's no shade here, right? There's no trees. So this is the perfect spot, nice sunny area. It's going to be that real nice dark dirt, that black topsoil that we'll put up here, you know, quite a bit. So it's probably going to be about 8 to 10 inches here and then just slopes down. And this will be all filled eventually with that frog grass. So they poured this 5 meter piece of the coping right before lunch. So they let it sit 1 hour and then they just came back through after lunch and worked the cement once again. So we're not going to leave this obviously at concrete. It's going to have mosaic tile on top. So the coping is 60 centimeters and the coping that we picked is 30 centimeters. So it'll be 2 rows of that mosaic tile that we picked. It'll go all the way around the coping. And then we will cut some of that mosaic tile and have it drop down 10 centimeters or 4 inches. So it'll be 4 inches of mosaic tile here and then 60 centimeters of mosaic tile on top. So it's here after lunch and I just wanted to show you this is the next section. So they did this section yesterday, the 5 meters over there they did before lunch. This is after lunch. So you can see that they've added more rebar. So they've added this strand right here that goes on the outside or right at the 60 centimeters out. And then what they're doing is they're bending the rebar that was already embedded in that 30 centimeter wall. They're bending it down and then they're using that to tie. And then they put a second piece here. So there's a strand here and you can see how it goes right into the cement. And then there's another strand here that goes down. And then they're bending the rebar that was vertically out of the 30 centimeter wall, bending down, tying it together. Then they just put about a 2-inch layer of gravel. They just got done tamping that down, and then they pour water on it before they actually do the pour to slow the curing down. But here they still got a little forms to go. So you can see the 2 strands that come out and then turn, and this will be the the last 10 meters to pour. So you can kind of see how they still have to bend all this down, and then they use these long spans to tie here and then tie here. So even in the coping, they're putting a lot of steel. So it should be very strong to stand on. All right, so carport progress, and there's a lot of lumber here under my feet, so I'm going to be careful as I walk. But you can see Felix, basically he's a one-man band, and he is doing a real nice job getting all the steel in place. So I told you guys I'm concerned about all this rust. So the rust inhibitor as well as the paint is on site. So I told him that we need to get this painted and get that rust inhibitor on the steel as soon as possible. So he's working on that. But just in a couple of days, it looks like he has it all the steel is in. So I'm going to take a walk down to the dirty kitchen and show you how they're going to work the end cap. All right, so I'm in the very western corner of the property, so standing on top of the septic system. So here's a good look at the carport. So we made a change for the better, and I'm going to do my best to explain it. And I got another one of my famous mock-ups just from scrap material. We're all going to try to explain it. But we're really concerned about how the water, because remember it's a shed type roof, so all the rain is going to be directed to the back of the property. So that's a lot of water. And I think I did a good job explaining the concrete drainage in the back of the property. So we're confident with that. It's going to be about 20 inches wide, the whole length of the property. It'll all be rendered hollow block with waterproofing in the cement mix. And we're very confident that we're going to be able to shed the water, off and away from the property. That's not the issue. But the issue that we've been talking through is how the water is going to spill over the roof. Because we're concerned there's a possibility on real heavy rain, so now we're talking like monsoon rain, that the water would be going so quickly that could it actually go past the 20-inch drain and actually pour on the neighbor's property. And we thought that through, and we came up with a solution. And I'm going to go ahead and try to explain that in the second video. But the first change is the end cap. So the end cap of the roofing, so you can see it here, is now changing to be a C-purlin. And there's an example of a 4-inch C-purlin there. So the end cap all the way around and the back of the overhang will be a C-purlin. And then now what I'll do is I'll show you the mock-up of how to explain what the change is. All right, so I'm going to do my best to try to explain here, and I'm going to have to only use one hand with the camera. But as I showed you up here just a minute ago with the end cap being a C-purlin. So here's an example of a C-purlin. So the very end, so right there, the very end of the roof extension, going all the way across the back, all the way to the other side of the home, is represented right here. So the roof will extend past the C-purlin by 4 inches or 10 centimeters. So all the rainwater is going to be coming this way. It's pitched, as you guys know, 5 degrees. So the rainwater is going to be coming here and then going off the side and then down to that 20-inch concrete drain. So the roof is not flat, it's ribbed. So here's an example of raised up. So let's just pretend that this flat roofing has the ribs in it. So where the ribs lie on top of the roofing, we're going to make a change. And they call it rain stopper. So what a rain stopper is, and for guys who've built in the Philippines probably know this, it's going to rest on top of the rib, okay? And the rib here is 1 inch high. So here on top, let's make believe there's a rib here. The rain stopper will rest on top of that rib going across the roof, and it will get riveted. And then what it will do is it'll stand up and be out 1 inch from the edge right here. So the edge of the roof, this rain stopper will be out 1 inch. And it will also be raised above the roof 1 inch. So 1 inch out and 1 inch high. And what that will do in essence is the rain now, if it gets going too quickly this way, will actually hit that wall of the rain stopper. Does that make sense? And then it will drive the rain down. So again, the concern was the rain was going to go so quickly here that it could go out too far and keep going this way and miss that 20-inch drain. But if we have a rain stopper that'll be sitting out 1 inch high and 1 inch out, the rain water now will hit the rain stopper and go directly down, thus not missing the concrete drainage. So that was the change that we made. I'm not sure why that wasn't the original plan. I didn't ask, but I was happy when it got explained to me today, because that was our concern. We've talked about it many times here, where you know, in real heavy rain, that rain's really going to go, and we don't want it to miss the drainage, and one, land on our neighbor's property, and two, wash out the dirt that's in back of this wall. We want to make sure that the rainwater actually lands right on in the middle of that concrete drainage. So that rain stopper is supposedly going to make sure that the rain hits that stopper and goes directly down, thus landing, you know, hopefully perfectly in the middle of the drainage, and then we can just drain the water away. So hopefully with my mock-up, I explained it good enough for you guys to understand.